The impact of climate change is affecting our planet in unimaginable ways, and it's no secret that big corporations have played a significant role in contributing to environmental damage. Today, we're going to take a closer look at how these corporations have affected coastal communities around the world and the devastating consequences they face. But it's not all doom and gloom, as we'll also explore how we can all work together to make a positive impact on our planet. Let's start with some data. Did you know that coastal communities around the world are at risk of being submerged underwater due to rising sea levels? In fact, according to a report by the United Nations, we could see up to 1 billion people displaced by 2050 due to the impact of climate change. Big corporations, with their insatiable appetite for profits, have contributed significantly to this environmental crisis. Just 100 companies are responsible for more than 70% of global greenhouse gas emissions since 1988. These companies have profited from the use of fossil fuels for decades, despite knowing the environmental impact of their actions. The consequences of this corporate greed are devastating. We're seeing more extreme weather events, rising sea levels, and loss of biodiversity. The poorest and most vulnerable communities are the hardest hit, while these big corporations continue to make billions in profits. The impact on these communities is heart-wrenching. Families have lost their homes, their crops, and their entire way of life. It's not just a question of moving to higher ground for many, it's a question of survival. So what are these big corporations doing to address the issue? Some have made commitments to reduce their carbon footprint and invest in renewable energy sources. But are these actions enough? This is where things get controversial. Some argue that regulations and taxes would stifle innovation and economic growth. They believe that the free market will eventually lead to a shift towards renewable energy sources and more sustainable practices. Others argue that we can't rely on the free market to solve this problem. Climate change is a global crisis that requires urgent action, and big corporations have a responsibility to take action. What's even more concerning is that some corporations are fully aware of their impact on the environment, yet they choose to prioritize profit over sustainability. Some have even been accused of using greenwashing tactics to manipulate consumers into believing they are environmentally friendly when, in reality, they are not. Others are reducing waste by implementing recycling programs or finding ways to reuse materials. Many smaller businesses are also prioritizing sustainability in their operations. For example, small independent coffee shops are increasingly using compostable or reusable cups and implementing sustainable practices like recycling and reducing waste. These businesses may not have the same level of impact as large corporations, but they are still making a difference and setting an example for others to follow. It's important to recognize and support companies that prioritize sustainability. By choosing to do business with these companies, we can help drive demand for environmentally friendly practices and encourage other businesses to follow suit. Companies that prioritize sustainability are not only doing their part to protect the planet, but they are also demonstrating that it is possible to run a successful business while also being environmentally responsible. And while some corporations are taking steps to reduce their environmental impact, it's not enough. The reality is that we need large corporations to make significant changes to their practices if we want to have a chance at mitigating the effects of climate change. We can also advocate for government policies and regulations that hold corporations accountable for their environmental impact. Governments have a responsibility to protect their citizens and the environment. So what does the future hold? It's clear that we can't continue down this path of environmental destruction. As individuals, we also have a role to play. We can make conscious choices about the products and services we use, support sustainable businesses, and advocate for change. Ultimately, it's up to us as consumers to demand change from corporations and governments alike. The planet is precious, and we must do everything in our power to protect it. That's it for today's video. Don't forget to subscribe and click the bell icon to receive more updates on current affairs on sustainable development. I hope you feel motivated to take action and make a difference. Remember, the choices we make today will determine the kind of world we leave for future generations. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.